Welcome to the SINGEL recordings. This podcast captures meaningful moments of reflection and dialogue, recorded live on stage. In this second episode, we meet French writer Constance Debré, who shares her thoughts on writing and literature. The evening was recorded in the SINGEL's music studio on the 14th of October 2025.
Good evening. My name is Tim Taverne. I work as a curator for the Talks and Debates program here at the SINGEL Art Center. First of all, I would like to thank you for being here. After the opening lecture by Safa El-Khanoussi and the talk with Judith Butler 3 weeks ago, I am very honored to introduce Constance Debré this evening. This talk is part of To Harbour, a festival curated by my colleague Merle Seske that questions the meaning of home, coming home, leaving and returning, belonging somewhere, claiming your space, and embracing the unknown. The seasonal theme, longing to belong, is never far away. When I first talked to Merle about this festival, it was very clear to me that I wanted to invite Constance Debré. Some people write that her books are about love and relationships, and I think that's true. But for me, the books are also about the right to refuse, about reinventing your life and creating your own conditions, about taking responsibility, even when life is showing its ugliest side, maybe especially then. Literature becomes a strategy for shifting things around. Her writing escapes definitions, except maybe for that one definition of the lonesome cowboy. Before we start, I would like to mention that there is time for questions at the end of the evening. And as you probably noticed, Bookstore Chronopio hosts a book sale with the selection of work from Constance Debré and Julie Cafmeyer. There will also be a signing session, and it's good to know that we record the evening, and we will make the entire conversation available as a podcast. To conclude, I would like to thank Constance Debré and Julie Cafmeyer for their time and their trust, and of course my colleagues at the SINGEL for making this evening possible. For now, I would like to give the floor to Julie Cafmeyer and Constance Debré. Thank you.
Yes. This is the second time we meet. First time we met for an interview in Paris. I interviewed you for the newspaper De Morgen. And we did it in French. And I remember that the first thing I said to you, I was apologizing for the mistakes I would do and my dialect and my accent. And you said, but it's actually interesting, the accent and the mistakes. And then, of course, I was thinking of your books. And am I right that this is also your inspiration? What is not correct, the fault, the misfit even?
Well, okay. I don't know, what do you mean exactly? It seems really, it seems too smart, you know, for
smart?
first questions. Like, I'm not ready yet. Go.
No, no. If you say yes, then it's also relaxing because then we can make a lot of mistakes tonight.
Sure. But I don't know what to say about mistakes, you know? What do you? It's like
Yeah,
it's too
mistakes.
general to me.
Okay, so let's. Okay, tonight I will mostly focus on Love Me Tender. This is the book who is translated in Dutch. It's for now the only one.
Okay.
And in Love Me Tender, we follow a woman, and she is in a divorce. And the narrator lost her son. She cannot see him unless with social workers, and she gets rid of a lot of things in her life. And I thought about mistake because it seems like she doesn't want to have the correct life. I don't know. Maybe you have totally different ideas about your book.
Totally.
Okay. Yes. Tell me.
No, first may I? It will seem extremely, probably pompous or arrogant, but maybe I mean you don't all know me or have read my books, so.
I think a lot of people. Yes, but okay.
Well, then thank you very much, but. I have written 4 published books, and then I just finished a 5th, which is going to be out in France and in French in January. So I'm building something. So yes, we can talk about this book, and we will. I'm not escaping anything. But so the first 3 books, which were Playboy, Love Me Tender, and Name, are related. They're related not because of the story, because I'll talk about what I think of a story in a book and how it is or not that important to me. But they're related because of the formal aspect, or it's like when I began writing, and when I begin writing a book, I'm before thinking of a story. I never think about a story, but I might think about the material. But the first thing is like the some ideas of form, of tone, and then for the first 3 books, the rule, and it was not exactly the same for the 3 books, but it was using the first person, the I. For many reasons, and among them, the fact that it's extremely direct, and for one good reason. It's like we all live, every day we are with ourselves, and we are je, and occasionally we say tu, you. And we can talk about nous, us, and then but we live in the I, this chaotic I. So when we see, what's my experience as a reader, when I open a book and I see an I immediately, identify with this I, or like I feel close to it. So there's something extremely effective, extremely strong in the use of this. I. So that was the idea, and then I use personal material, but again, it's fiction. I'm not saying it's invented. It's not invented, but it was not about that. It's then using an I, which is like a double of yourself in a way, but with literary within a literary perspective. It's very strange, and it's like very interesting because you're building something, because you have ideas about what literature is, or about the world, or whatever. You have ideas, and then you're going to use your very personal stuff. but not to tell them, but just to use them. And so suddenly it's like very close and very distant, which is very interesting as a writer. But so, okay, that was the first three books, and we're going to talk about one of them, apparently.
No, but it's true, we can talk about everything, you're right. I don't want to...
And I agree with, what has been said in a way. I mean, I don't, I'm not here to say this is what my work means or my books means. I know and I don't know. It's not my part or whatever. It's also like up to the readers to have their ideas. That's the whole thing about books. But okay, so I closed in a way the cycle of those four books written at the first person, and then I began another thing, but it's not translated, but something else, not a classical form, and sometimes there's but it's not exactly the same process. That I'm just saying that to tell you that's. It's sometimes strange for me to talk about books I have written years ago. But not only because I have written them years ago, but also because, in my work, in my, thoughts about this activity I'm doing every day, I moved. Of course, everything is related. It's exactly when, it's like we have the same body all our life. During our whole life. But when you see a picture of you when you were, 15, say, yeah, it's me and it's not me. So sometimes it's a bit like that. But it's something distant. I mean, I should stop talking. It's terrible.
No, it's not terrible.
It's like I've been, on an island for 6 months and you are the first human beings. Sorry. For this very long intro.
You make me curious.
I talked for 15 minutes. I didn't, answer the question. So Love Me Tender, yes. So yes. So Love Me Tender, yes. Of course, I used. There's some kind of story in a way I used, but to me it's not important. It's the way you. I'm not writing a novel the way novels were written a century ago, or so it's not about the story. It's, to me, first it's about language, and I don't know, so I do what I can in French, so I'm really precise about, even punctuation. I can be crazy about punctuation and words and everything. And second, it's to me the what is at stake is more about how you place the voice or the characters, but in those books, only the I, is as usual, the narrator is a special character, and it's the way you put it, in the middle of those events. So it's about a placement, it's about a distance or not. It's not about the events themselves. I hope when you read Love Me Tender, and yes, it's a story about, in a way, there's a divorce, okay, an ugly divorce, hello, yes, okay, it happens, and then of course about a child. So this is, it's so banal. So yeah, of course it happened to me, but it's not the point. The point is I wanted to use something extremely banal that we all know, whether it happened to us personally or within usually close range. And so using this thing, we could all relate to play with, yes, so what can I say? And so the question is not, are they going to, is it a happy ending or not? So it's not
no, this is not a question. But for me, it's not, for me as reader, it's not banal at all, because the way the narrator deals with all what she loses,
that's yeah, exactly.
It's not, for me,
So,
Yeah, I don't know if it matters, maybe not, but it's not, but not because it's quite liberating what she does. Because
she doesn't do anything. She doesn't do anything. Again, it's not about events. So it's the way you write the stories. The way the narrator is telling the story implies things not about the events themselves, but about whatever can happen in life, or about a position, about existence. But it's not about, again, it's not, she doesn't do anything. It's like, or you know, or no more than we all do in life. Usually we're just trying to adjust. That's all. But then it's about the way it's told. That's all, I think.
She makes choices.
I don't care. Yeah, what choice? She's in a bad situation. She tries to.
No, but okay, I know you don't care, and maybe you're even gonna hate it, what I say, because it's not about what she does, but still, when I read it, it inspired me because she gets rid of a lot of things. It's like the circumstances of her life gives her. She sells all her books. She thinks how she lives. These are essential things, no? But for you, I'm sure
I'm not writing about that.
It's not the first time I think you will hear this, but I think a lot of readers, and maybe we will hear it also with the Q&A, I don't know, thinks, okay, whoa, this is liberating, this is inspiring me, but for you, this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter for you. No, but it's interesting.
No, I'm sorry, I think okay, great, but I think it's again, I'm not, it's not a book to help people to, it's not an example for better living, or it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not in that section of the bookstore yet. I wish, No, so we don't. Yeah, okay, yeah, she does that, and sometimes when you read I don't know, whatever, you can read a novel and say, oh yeah, I'd like to do like that. Yeah, okay, but it's not literal. It's not literal, and I think I hope if people can relate to whatever passages of my books, and it's more because suddenly they recognize. I hope, and I'm sorry, I'm talking, for the readers, but I hope that's the bet you making when you begin writing, is that at some point the readers who have different lives can relate to the narrator, whatever, what is said on the page, because we share common emotions, and not only emotions, but then thoughts that come into our minds when we are in certain situation. And those emotions, those thoughts, those situations, I mean, we all know them, It could be in a pain, in a painful situation. Okay, let's say in this book, Nana, she can see her son. Okay, all right, but this situation doesn't matter because, it's just a painful situation, and it's like we all know painful situation like that, or it could be basically we know all those situations after, je sais pas, when we are 12 or 16, or I don't know, it's like we've been humiliated at school or in our families. We've been jealous. We've been mean. We've been victims of other people being mean to us, or so many situations, or we've been bored to death. We've been thinking that we were lost, or we have been excited. I don't know. Every situation, we know them. And in those situations, we have ideas, you know. And so this is, and then yes, of course, you create in a book, you create those situations. But then for a book to work, I mean, I know it as a reader, you know, I've been experiencing as a reader for years, and I'm still in this position of a reader most of the time, actually. And then, yes, if I can relate to, I don't know, a Dostoevsky's novel, or, you know, it's like, you know, I don't have many things to do with this guy living in St. Petersburg 2 centuries ago. Oh, those anarchists, you know, in like in the demons or whatever. It's like a little political thing. So yeah, I'm not following everything. I have to confess. But yes, I know what he's talking about. I know those emotions, those rage, those despair, those movement, or I want to get rid of everything, or like I just want to sleep, or let's try to invent another society, or that's what literature is about. Mm-hmm. So we don't care about the sun and the machin and the narrator who put her books on the sidewalk. It's movements of someone in a situation. Mm-hmm. And again, and I think if people at some point, oh yeah, this is I know that. It's somewhere in me. Yes, I've been in a situation when I was humiliated or you know, or just hurt, and then I decided to do something, not against the person who hurt me, but to do something else, to put some energy somewhere, and then there's a movement and whatever. So that's, you know, so I disagree when I talk. Is that okay?
It's good, and it's beautifully said. Because it's really the books are about movement. And this is those the books style, and the repetition of this movement that keeps, and this is literature.
Alors, yeah, and maybe it's like I didn't prepare this thing, but like about this, like, you know, harbour thing and home and leaving home and coming back home, and yeah, it's about movement. It's like I remember when I was writing this book, Love Me Tender. The book I had in mind was Ulysses, or like, you know, the Odysseus, but like the character of Ulysses. I'm talking about the Odysseus, so the old one, and so yeah, I mean, Ulysses is Ulysses, and basically Ulysses is the first person on Earth, or at least the first person on Earth in a book, or the first character. But because he becomes himself, he becomes this fully interesting, grown-up character, adult, whatever, human being, because of what happened. Because he had to face all those trials, because he could not get home just after the war. And so it's about this, this journey, and like, and I failed. It's like it's not as good as, well, but again, like, was this idea of, yes, if we take those any events as this good or bad, you know, good or bad, as part of a journey that's gonna help us, or like in a book, help the writer to reveal, or to make, to reveal not even to reveal the character, but to make it moves, or to make it becoming something else, or to make, it's about the reactions are more interesting than the causes. Or the consequences are more interesting than the causes, always.
Do you still like the books?
I don't know. It's like I haven't read it in so many times.
But when you see them here, you think...
Yeah, well, again, it's like seeing an old, a photo of something which was very familiar. Also, it's like when you work on a book, you spend, let's say, I don't know, like a year or two working on it, and it's like it's really it's an obsessive. So you have to be obsessive, or I am. So it's like you think a lot about it. And when it's done, and you're very happy to close the door. Then, of course, you have to talk about it. It's
Sorry. Yeah, this is also why we agree
punishment. But then because of the translation, and I'm very happy. Of course, Love Me Tender has been translated in many languages, and yes, of course, this is great. Then I had to talk about it, but then I did it the way I do it today. So I talk about something else. I was like, yeah, whatever. But no, but I think I always did. Like, so do I? I mean, I don't have to love my books. It's just it's just work. So suddenly you decided that you were gonna build, I don't know, like a chair, and say, and so you just in the middle of it say, what am I going to do? It's like, does it look like a chair? I don't know. Is it a chair? Well, maybe I can add this and this and this. And at some point, it's just as good as it could be. And you just leave it. And you're happy having done your work. I think the better as you go, because so that's all. So I don't have to love my books. I mean, it would be so embarrassing, sorry.
But did you know before that it would be a trilogy?
I never talk. I mean, no. But I probably was interested in the first person I knew after the first one that I was still interested in the first person, but I used it a little bit differently for each book. But then, yeah, I don't know.
And the third book, you knew that for name. When did you know? Okay, now I'm done with this.
Also, I always had this idea. I don't know. But yes, okay, so there are very interesting things about the first person, but also it's it can be a little bit disgusting. It is, actually, it's totally disgusting. But I'm interested in disgusting things, of course. I'm absolutely interested in the impurity of literature. I don't believe it's a pure thing. I don't believe in purity, or it's like always dangerous when you begin to talk about purity, So I embraced absolutely the impurity of writing, of literature in itself, in writing, and then as using the first person, which is like a step further in something. And that's why also it's kind of interesting, it's like, but also at some point it became something that was a limitation more than a strength for me. I wanted to write about other stuff. And for what I wanted to write about, the I was a limitation. So that's the first thing. And also this the ambiguity of the first person, or the way I use the first person, which is this confusion between my life, or you have lessons to give to people about how to live, how to be free, or whatever, and my work became too much, because I was like, no, I'm sorry, it's like my life is my life. Yeah, I can use it in a book, but it's like, it's a book. And I don't have any lessons. I'm not telling you throw your books away. It's like, I don't want to talk a second about those things, So that's why I moved out. But of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's clear. I can understand that it's annoying if people all the time ask you for advice how to have a free
No,
life.
if it's the way people read my book, then it's like no, I don't want that, or like I'm not whatever. People do whatever they want. You know, it's like the absolute freedom of readers. But
So
I don't know, and I don't need the first person anymore. I don't even need that to create some, je sais pas. You have to create something in the page, I think. Yet we are all bored to death, you know. It's like, and there's so many books, and it's like it's so much easier to doom scroll for hours. That we all do it, okay? Than opening a book. But also it's like it's some kind of, you have to be polite. I mean, it's like, why would you spend a second of your life opening a book and read what I, at some point in my, studio, happen to find interesting? Why? So my responsibility, or at least that's the way I feel, as a writer, is to make something happening in this page. So I knew that the eye was helping me doing that at some point. It's not enough, of course, but that it was a good vehicle, you know. And now I have other. You can't repeat yourself also, and then I'm using other stuff, or like I don't know. So that's you just evolve in your work. You know, you don't do the same thing again and again.
Yeah, I'm very sorry, but I'm now going to read a passage from your book. Okay. Yeah, we decided together that I would read it, because of course these are old clothes for you. It's the tipping point, the kairos. It's like the conversion of Saint Augustine, just as radical. It's not just a matter of him believing in God or me liking women. It's the fact that there's a life before and a life after. For me, homosexuality isn't about who I'm fucking. It's about who I become. With men, there was always a limit. Now I have all the space I want. I feel like I can do anything. Women, love, sex. In the beginning, it was all new and exciting, but not anymore. It's all still there, of course. It's still the subject matter of what's happening to me. But it's not important like the decor of a room. I have to go beyond that to find what I'm looking for. For me, homosexuality just means taking a break from everything. That's exactly what it is, a long vacation. Expensive as the sea with nothing on the horizon, nothing to close it, nothing to define it. That's why I quit my job, to be both a master and a slave, the only one responsible for setting the limits. Work, family, apartments, finito. And you can't imagine how good it feels. So
yeah, everything is said. You know, it's like I'm like using this thing of your homosexuality because like the narrator is became, or like I don't know, has a late coming out, let's say, and it's as I said in the book or whatever. It's like it said homosexuality is not about homosexuality. You know, it's a decor. So everything is the same thing. You could replace the word homosexuality with story. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's just or it's like just again, I believe that I believe that literature is when a story or a text or language is not, well, is literal and not literal. It has to do it has to have I found both qualities, I think, especially in a novel. Yes, it has to be literal. We have to understand it. I like when things are precise, when we can talk about the glass. I like stories to be material because we live in a material world with bodies, and death is something extremely material. But also not literal. If there is no echo of any situation with other things, then it's not literature to me. So, and I'm trying to. That's the risk you're taking when you write. It's like, am I able to, to have this echo? Am I able to write things that will touch other things that are not described, that are not even, that I don't even know, because I'm not you and you and you.
Does it interest you to talk about love and literature?
Again, like, it's so vague. What do you mean? Like, love what?
Yeah, because you write about that when you love or when you start a love adventure, you take all the time the risk to fall on your mouth and to lose all your teeth, no? And is this... yeah, sorry, I don't know what to ask anymore.
No, because I'm sorry, because it's very, it's like the way you live,
but of course,
it's
every question can seem stupid. Of course, yeah, it's true.
No,
yeah,
fine. Maybe I can have other things to say, but
yeah, but it's like I want to talk about what inspires me and what admires you, but I think it also irritates you in a way. So then I think, okay, what can I ask? No, but for me it's okay that you're irritated. Yeah, I don't know if it's I don't know what it is. Doesn't matter, but it's just like, okay, then how can I put it that it's somehow a thing you want to talk about?
I don't know. It's like we keep going the way no,
of course.
Is it
we
okay?
Keep going,
Oh,
yeah.
It's like you ask me something, and then I can't exactly answer you because I don't feel my books this way. But then I can talk about this work I'm trying to do, or
No, but it's just...
And I can't, of course, I have nothing to say about, the way I live. I would be embarrassed to talk.
It's not that I admire the way you live, or it's not that I feel for lessons in my life. It doesn't interest me either. It just interests me also because as a writer, like when you write about love, it inspires me in how to love. It's something bigger. It's like the narrator of the story. She has so many lovers each time again. And how does it come?
In a moment, yes.
Yeah, in a moment. So how does it come, do you think, that this narrator has, that she loves so much, actually?
Je sais pas. I don't know what to say. Sorry.
No, but yeah, okay, yeah. When do you write?
When I'm not doing anything else. No, it seems stupid, but it's true. It's like yes, I can do many things, and I'd like to. I admire people who can, do so many things. As I can't. So basically, that's all I do, except when I'm doing other things. And of course, the other things is like, yeah, of course, like, yeah, I swim in the morning, yeah, and then life, you have. but like in my, I try to work every day, or like I'm. It's not that I sit at a table and write every day. It's not like that. But I'm constantly with this preoccupation, and if I can't, I think it's like. But again, like it's not working in an office or like, in a factory. So it's a very specific kind of work which looks like not working. But I mean, like, to me, like being on a beach for more than 5 minutes would be like torture. But that's the way you deal with your guilt, So it's like I have this work idea and I try to work and to think about the book I'm writing, to try to find it when I'm in it, because I have ideas, but it's vague. I have to find it, to find the form, to the rhythm, and then when it's done, I'm just at this moment, this very, very brief moment when you finish the book and say, oh, by the way, I'm happy it's done. For a brief moment, I'm like, oh, I think I like it, by the way. And then the next second, you are, or I am, and I will be thinking about the next one. Think, what else, what's going to come next? What? So it's like, really, voilà, that is a writer's life. You just try to write, no?
And what makes you want to write?
Because I think I believe in work and why do you write? It's so many questions, so many answers also. But like let's have one, because I'm not gonna, But one answer, and I think it's an honest one, is like, I don't know what to do with myself. It's like you can't swim for 10 hours, and I don't like to go out or whatever. So, and I believe in work. Well, I don't know. I need to work. I think it's a great activity. Of course, it's painful too, but like it's, and I like this kind of work because I like this kind of work. And before, when I was a lawyer, I was working a lot. So for many reasons, I decided to create my own work, which is this one.
And can you tell me a bit about the book you just finished?
It's more connected in a way to the previous one, which is gonna be published in the US and in the UK. I think in the next spring, which is called Offense en français, and I think offense or offenses in English. So it's more, just to talk about the material. And so this is, and then the next one is, I haven't said it in France yet, but whatever, it's protocole, en français, protocols in English. So let's say that for both books, I'm using let's say legal material. Voilà, and so the first one, offenses, is again, I'm the vehicle is a very classical one in literature. But it's a classical one in literature because it's like it's something. It's an obsession, or like it's a position, an extreme position, and then questions, related to this extreme position. We've been all thinking about since childhood, which is the question of the murder. And yes, of course, Crime and Punishment, The Stranger, so many books. Not because it's interesting, not because it's like theatrical or dramatical, whatever. No, because it's this extreme position. And so it's very interesting, I think, to go through, again, these things, but my way, of course. And also thinking about the other books, because every book is a book about literature, too. It's not said, but it's there. And so, yes, it's about, let's say, the story I used, and I think I tried to use it in a very specific way, because my work is a lot about form, about the way again, not so much about the stories, but the story is like similar to the one in Crime and Punishment. It's like a young man stabbing an old lady for no reason, or $200 or whatever, or euros, whatever. So and then so it was, the first thing is the question of the murder and the question of the trial too. And which is something, of course, very familiar to me, not because I killed anyone, but because I've been a criminal lawyer for years. And I think maybe it's the other way around. It's because I have always been interested in those questions, as well as in language, by the way. That I was a lawyer. So approaching those questions as a lawyer, or as a writer is close, different, but close. So this is for offense and protocols. But again, I haven't talked. I talked about it yet, and again, it's not published. But it's something else. It's another material, and there's a first person in it, but it's a bit different. And I prefer not to talk about protocols yet.
No,
because,
I think we have to talk about what we want to talk and just let go everything. There is no expectation.
No, but so I'm sorry, I can't. Talk too much about a book which is not yet out. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
But.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, you talked about it. Also, the narrator of the Love Me Tender and Name and Playboy, she swims. And there is also something in the movement of swimming, getting stronger, being indestructible. Do you think this is in relation, the body who is strong, is it in relation to write? Is it or to create, or?
Alors, first, I think in the book, the way I used this idea was at the moment where the narrator was hurt and in a more fragile position, and like refusing to be a victim too much. She was doing this stuff, so I was using this very familiar thing because it's I'm I swim every morning, so yeah. But I think it was like the idea of using it, when. Of course, when you use your own experience and things and life to write a book, you choose. It's a selection, not only about the way you tell things, but about the events. You don't tell everything. So it's like, I might use this thing, or maybe she can. It makes sense in the book. That's how I used it. And about writing, swimming and writing, I don't know. Apparently, there are many writers who swim. So it's like, Okay, I don't know. It's like, but yes, it's like I'm really don't think I'm not sure it's very interesting. But like for instance, like I was. When I was younger, and especially when I was a lawyer, and even when I was a lawyer, I was doing lots of fencing. And it was connected. Like when I was good at fencing, on the way you use your body and your mind in that kind of sport was extremely close to the way I had to use my, brain and language when I was in court. And yeah, maybe the swimming is close. It's like, yes, it's you're alone in your world when you swim. So it's close. But also it's like I need to use my body. I can't just be like that writing books all day long. I need to move this big thing. Yeah.
It also makes me think of the spiritual exercise you're writing of, like. And also being a lawyer, like being clear, being strong, getting.
Well, I think it's when you write books, you try to to propose to the readers some kind of aesthetic also. Like you have to when you build a character. You have to, but it's not about, to me, it's less about the way a character looks like or even like what the character does than some kind of aesthetic of life. And by aesthetic, I think it's something which is a mix of moral attitude and very formal. It's like it's a way. It's like yes, it would be the shape of the character's moral ideas. By the way, we all have that. We'll all have an aesthetic, a vision. It's more or less conscious, and if it's if it's an obsession and it's too conscious, then it becomes ridiculous. It has to be kind of natural too, but then we all have that. And by the way, that's what charm the people who love you. They don't, if they are caught by something, the way you walk, the way you think about things, the way you stand up, laugh, or the way you, many things. I'm not only talking about taste, about the way you dress, about the way you pick up your groceries at the supermarket. An aesthetic is not about that. So this is, again, we are material. And so it's very interesting. It's like this connection of materiality and also ideas. That's why when we see someone walking in the, when we met people, I'm not even talking about falling in love, all those big words. But when you're charmed by someone, you met someone, it's like you can be charmed. In 5 minutes, because the way they said something and the way they walked and they say they laugh, it's just little things, and you're charmed. But for some reasons, because you see things in those, you see meanings, you see other things that just a pair of jeans and je sais pas, whatever, and an idea about, an opinion this person has said about something. You see the whole world behind. And very often you are half right. You don't know yet everything. And you're curious about what you don't know, of course. But you feel things. So yeah, I think it's part of what you do when you create, when you write books, and usually in books there are, you know, characters like human beings, proposition of human beings. You create that too. As a writer, you are conscious that you are creating someone with some kind of aesthetic. By the way, when you create a character, especially when it's at the first person, it's good that this character is going to be liked and disliked. Of course, I mean, the closer you can, or like the closer the readers will think this character is from the writer, I mean, you have to be not too likable, not too nice, not too beautiful. It would be disgusting, you know. So you have to be to create something a little bit more complex. And sometimes you go close. Sometimes I say, oh, and you do that. Well, that's the way I work I used to when I was using this first person. But again, then an aesthetic, we all have one in life. I think it's an interesting thing. to not again, and I'm not being obsessive about those things, but when you think that about that every stupid decision you make is part of something. It's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, it's beautiful what you say about aesthetics in life and in language, and that the aesthetics is something you actually don't do. It's just there.
What do you mean?
Yeah, like when you said how someone walks, for example, or someone. It's not something that you consciously do. It's not a pose.
But it's decision too. It's like, that's why I won't talk about an aesthetic of a dog, and I love dogs, you know. It's like, because when the way someone walk is also what is behind is like the books they have written is like many things. And yes, of course, the aesthetic you have is the sum of decisions you have made, of course, and that's why we are human beings. So we are not defined by, I don't know, the stars, the moon, the sea, or even our parents. Yes, we're not totally free. We have many things, but we have a huge margin, and this margin is, some people we can talk about this margin of freedom we all have, more or less, to to make a living. Yes, it's part of it, you know, like this social, economic, political view of this thing. But there's another part. It's like becoming what the human being you're going to become, the form you're going to be at 20, 25, 30, 45, 60. You know, it's always moving, this thing. And yes, of course, it's part of our decision. And yes, of course, it becomes natural too. It's not forced. But of course, it doesn't, falls from the sky. It's not.
In what I read, I read a sentence like homosexuality is a holiday. And last time I was reading an essay in the New York Times, and they came up with the term heterofatality, like the misery in the despair of women who are complaining about men, that they're not emotional capable, that they're all narcissists like this. And I was thinking of a word that I read also a lot in your books, the word in French, lamentable, or misery, miserable. Do you think there is a reason?
Unrelated to homosexuality, it's nothing to do with that?
No, I just
Yeah.
wondered that because you write like homosexuality is a holiday.
No, yeah, that's the way the character at some point talks about whatever is happening in her life, and she's like, it's not that matters.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you if you think there is a reason why there is more misery in heterosexuality.
No, I never said that at all.
No, but I was asking you.
But I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying homosexuality is better than heterosexuality. I think it's whatever. It doesn't change anything.
No, it's good to know, yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm not an expert, I'm sorry, of those questions. No, I'm not, like, just it reminds me because of the death of Diane Keaton recently, of course, so many things, and it was an excerpt from, I can't remember, it was like one of those Woody Allen movies, and I can't remember, it was Manhattan or Annie Hall. I think it's Manhattan, but I'm not sure. No, it's probably Annie Hall. Anyway, sorry. And he explains, and of course I won't be able to quote him precisely, but he's like, you have to know, if you getting close before you're getting too close to me, you have to know that I'm very pessimist, and I think that the world is divided into two groups, basically, and the one is like pure horror. It's like people, like really suffering and everything of like physical things, and the other is like the miserable, and we all in this group. And I related to that, yes.
No, but it's okay.
No, but like also, I'm sorry, it's like to be serious. And after Woody Allen, here comes Blaise Pascal, the French philosopher who wrote about la misère de l'homme. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm a happy nihilist.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I will ask my last question and then we go to the Q&A so you can all prepare an interesting question. So what I really loved about your books is that for me it's also a book about mourning and sadness and was that, yes, it's very, I really try to, I'm very conscious about my questions now, but was it...
I'm sorry, I didn't want to.
No, but was it for you also, did it help to write? Was it for you also a way of mourning when would you call it a mourning book?
Not at all. No, it's just, work is work. To me, it's like it's not. I'm not writing books too.
But is it then for you? What does it do with you if I say, okay, for me it helps to know something about sadness, that being in the sadness, this is all, it doesn't matter also what a reader thinks, or when a reader loves something, or when even it helps a reader, it doesn't matter to you?
I'm glad you can find something in that book that you like. It's like I'm writing books. I try to write books, and when I write those books, I'm trying to put things on the page that readers can recognize again, and I can feel something familiar with, and then in a way or another, it's like that's what I'm doing. That's this, because you have this feeling, you have this intuition that you're, this thing which is like between ideas and feelings, these things that come in your mind all day. It's like it's something, you're alone with it, and you're gonna die alone, and we're all gonna die alone with this thing. but you have this feeling that other people feel the same. Again, I'm sorry, and so that's why you write those books. And of course, when I write about sadness, is I try to not. It's like I'm not saying I'm sad. I'm sad. Oh, this is so sad. No, in order, no, that's not. It won't work. You know what? It won't work if I did that, and it's not interesting. So it won't be interesting for me. What is interesting is when I try to put things, and like I'm gonna describe this rug or this glass of water or this whatever, and make readers feel the sadness because it triggers something in their own experience, which has nothing to do with the rug and the glass of water. This is the work. And yes, work is good for mental health, for anyone, It's hard, but it's good for mental health. But it's not a way to, it's like, oh, I'm sad, I'm gonna write about what makes me sad and then I feel better. No, I mean, I don't even go to a therapist. I would be so bored, to talk about those things. So no, I don't know. I don't need that. Just working, but I could work on anything. It's not about. It's unrelated to the subject. To me.
Okay. Yes. Do I give my?
She hates me, I think. Now.
There is one. Sorry. No.
No, and I apologize if it was weird or whatever.
Okay. Who does have a question?
Okay. Hello. I really like your books, and I was wondering after this conversation, why do you publish them? Why do you make them public?
Because it's books.
You don't have to publish them, I think.
But no, yeah, absolutely. If not, it's not a book. I never spend a minute writing a diary. A diary would be for myself. Again, I've been trying to explain you, the whole thing about books is literature, and literature is this thing. I'm going to talk about this rug, and to make you feel something, but the way I'm going to talk about this rug will make you feel that you will recognize the same emotion, and to feel this connection, like, huh?
It feels to me that you write this book and you bring it out, you make it public, but you make it public and you are not, it seems to me, sorry if this is not very polite, but that you're not very open for how a reader feels about your book. It has to be like...
Yeah, absolutely, because it's not my problem. My problem is to make the work. And then, but while I'm making this work, it's not about me. It's about trying to make this thing that would, again, be readable. If it's not readable, and by readable, again, I think that like readers might recognize things in their own experience.
Okay, but you don't want to talk about the experience of the reader.
But no, but it's your experience. What can I do with it? What do you want me to do with it? Write another book? That's the whole thing about literature. It's something which is common and not. Yes, we put something, but we meet in the page, but we will never meet in real. That's the whole thing. It's like, for instance, I Proust, or like many other writers, are very... I have a relation to their work, but not them. Okay, they're dead, so yeah. But not only, for instance, like I'm never curious. Again, and I'm talking to you as a reader. I'm not curious in meeting writers, or it could be like filmmakers I admire, because I'm interested in their work. And I find it says, and I know there's someone behind their work that I admire, and I admire, you know, this author, this writer, this filmmaker, this musician, this painter, whatever. But as this person doing that thing, and I know we absolutely meet, it's amazing. But this writer author, painter, musician, will never know. That's the beauty of it. It's a connection, but it's not a physical, it's another space than in reality where we're gonna, oh yeah, I like you, let's, have a coffee together. No. The bodies never meet. But you get what I... Yes. Okay.
Okay, let's go to the next question.
Hello, do you reject the first 2 books before the trilogy? Because you said
yeah. No, yes, it's true that when I was younger, when I was in my probably very late 90s, 20s, sorry, or early 30s, I wrote have written 2 books. No, I don't reject them, but I think they were not that good. I was not ready yet, So yeah, they're, somewhere.
I have a question about the second book.
Okay.
In APCDR de Survie, you wrote psychoanalysis like Isabelle Huppert, Decathlon, and street furniture, I think.
Oh my God, I can't. I really don't remember.
Is a thing that should not exist.
Well, no, I never.
Agree?
So there's some coherence, like you're consistent. I never liked it. Yeah, I never liked psychoanalysis. Yeah. Well,
and can you tell me why? Because I really hate it, but a friend of mine who's here think it has value. So I'm very interested.
No, but it's again. I'm not saying this is stupid and nobody needs it. It's like, I don't know. Like, of course I can. It happened to me to go and talk to people, and I can of course advise my friends sometimes. Say, yeah, well, it is what it is. I think it's misused. I think it's exaggerated in the way it's a new religion, whatever. But sometimes you just you go to the dentist when you have a tooth pain. Well, same. Sometimes I'm not totally stupid saying it should be it's not the totality of what I think, And this abécédaire was, as far as I can remember, again, I wrote it, I don't know, like 25 years ago, and it was whatever. But it was an exercise of style. And trying to write formulas, but so far from what I'm doing now. So yeah, I can talk about whatever you want, but yeah. But you've been very curious to dig this thing out,
First of all, Julie, thank you for the moderation of this day. I think you did a really good job.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you very well.
First, I was acknowledging Julie and her work today as a moderator.
She said I'm a good moderator. I don't know what you think about it, but...
Second of all, my question for you, Constance, is whether you miss being a lawyer.
Do I miss?
Being a lawyer.
I wouldn't say that I miss it, because it's not my temper, but I loved it. Absolutely. It was very important, and it's still very important. It's like, my education as a lawyer, but law, I think my style, very much of my first books, actually, especially Playboy L of Me Tender, are really close to the way I was using language in criminal court. And actually, I think this was because when I was a criminal lawyer, using language in a very specific way, because I've been a lawyer in different things before, and then it was more written, but then it has to be very effective, and then in a minute, and it was you when you're a criminal lawyer, you have to change people opinions in 10 minutes, and it's not people opinions, the judge's opinion. Judges think they're right, and their opinion was about someone who was like already in jail, so it's like, and you have 10 minutes with words to make them change their opinion and think, oh yeah, I was wrong. It's extremely difficult. And I thought this exercise was so interesting. I was like, okay, maybe there's a way to write books using language and in a similar way. I wouldn't say exactly the same way, but like something extremely direct, extremely effective, extremely almost physical. And what I'm doing now, like I think in every book, there's a lot of my every book is linked in a way or another to my, knowledge of law or like practice as a lawyer or curiosity of everything. Yes, in every book. And I love doing that. I love being. I mean, it's like not. I thought it was. Yeah, it was important and meaningful and. It's just, so I did. Yeah, but I can do both.
Okay, we take one last question. What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
Or we can also do more. It's your choice. But I just want to.
Let's do what? Two questions. No, I don't know. I don't want to be boring.
Who will choose? Yeah, okay. Okay, you can choose.
Huh?
So it's always exciting who she will choose because there are a lot of questions.
Hello, thank you. I have a question in French. Bonjour. J'aimerais savoir, Constance Debré, finalement, si il y a une œuvre en tant que spectatrice qui vous a vraiment marqué dans votre vie, un artiste, une œuvre, quelque chose qui vous a heurté en fait.
Oh là là, mais c'est n'importe quel type de... C'est-à-dire que si vous demandiez un livre, déjà je pourrais pas vous répondre, parce qu'il y en a 150 et chaque jour je ferai une liste différente en me disant ah non j'ai oublié ça, bien ça. Mais une œuvre, c'est impossible.
C'est vrai?
Ouais, bah alors je vais dire l'Odyssée.
Un truc coup de poing, quoi, quelque chose qui.
Un coup de poing, j'en sais non, je vais dire l'Odyssée, c'est le livre de tous les livres. Ouais.
Ok. Merci.
Hi. So you said that you really love the impurity of literature. So what I would like to know, what do you consider your most impure scene in your books? Do you have a favorite impure scene? What happens there? What makes it so impure?
It's not about scenes, I think. It's about literature in itself. And
all right, so maybe that's what I would like to know. What do you exactly mean with it? If it's something else for you, that's fine. But I try to find out more about what you mean with it.
Yeah, I was about to answer, I think it's trying to acknowledge, like literature is a way to acknowledge the that human condition is something more complex and mixed with bad and good, and more complex than for instance, let's say, for instance, the legal vision of it, where there's a perpetrator and a victim. Which is, by the way, it's not just as a lawyer as I'm telling you that. It's like because I think we are also, maybe we are aesthetic animals. As I was trying to say, je sais pas, like half an hour ago, but I think also we are moral animals, and we are constantly trying to act well, or trying to convince ourselves that we are right. And I think it's like this constant monologue. We have this constant moral monologue in our head, you know, each of us. And maybe again, like, you know, it's like, maybe for me, literature has something to do with this acknowledgement of the beauty of our human condition as this impossible the beauty is that you cannot completely separate the good and the evil, and it's like this constant fight between us, but not only inside ourselves, but in everyone. And that's why we can relate to anyone. That's why you can relate to absolutely anyone on earth. That's why I feel close to anyone, but not like anyone, any specific human being. Like when I was a lawyer, I could understand in some way, but respect the distance too, you know, but understand someone who had committed something horrible and feeling that it was horrible. Yes, of course it was horrible for the victim. Of course I can relate to the victim as well, you know, it's like that. But as a reader, the same thing. I can relate to all those characters. It's because we recognize in someone else this entanglement of thoughts, of this internal fight, I think, you know, between good and bad. And again, and it's the fight itself in each of us, I think, is very beautiful. There is a fight. It's not like, yeah, I'm partly a monster and partly an angel, and it's what it is. Of course not. It's like fighting to. So it's. And going close to that and trying to show it and trying to express that and trying to make people, readers, feel some kind of connection, some kind of empathy, you know, within the page with this thing, which is just trying to say a little bit of what it is to be a human being, whatever the situation is, whatever the story is. The story, whether I'm using the I or I'm using another story, yeah, that's the impurity I was maybe thinking about.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, they already give an applause, but before we go out, I want to thank the audience for the beautiful questions. And of course, I want to thank you, Constance.
Thank you, Julie,
for your wonderful work, your wonderful aesthetics, language, and very exciting interview.
Thank you for listening to the Single Recordings, a podcast by The Single. This episode was created by Jessie Bervoets and Maarten Buil and was recorded by Jasper Bonting and Dimitri Dagelings. For more interviews, lectures and debates, keep an eye on The Single's website.